Hello there and welcome to today's Reformer on the Mat class. For this class you'll need a few things, so if you've got a set of 1 kilogram hand weights that would be great. And also we're going to be doing some side lying work. If you like to have something rested under your head when you do side lying work on the Reformer, do the same on the mat, so you could use a block, a cushion, a ball, find what works for you. And then we'll also be using these, our slider discs. So this might be completely new to you. If you don't have a set, don't worry. You can make do with either paper plates or a really slidey pair of socks. So not the ones with the grip that you use for your studio classes. Just find a nice fluffy pair of socks. Obviously it depends what surface you're working on. Paper plates kind of work best on a soft carpet, nothing too fluffy. Okay, so gather all your things and we are going to make a start in a standing position for our warm-up. Let's find that parallel position of the feet. Reach the energy from the crown of the head and show that both feet have got even weight in them. Lightly drawing the belly in, relaxed across the shoulders, arms just lengthened by the sides. Once you've got your alignment, we're going to start with a little march through the legs. So that single leg lift, and you might like to add a swing of the arms with that. You can take this as slow or as fast as your balance allows. Finding the breath with it. And find what height you can comfortably come to with your knee. But remember the movement's coming from the top of the leg. Swinging from the hip. Maybe bringing the arms in front and we can pick up the pace. Get some energy happening in the body. And let's keep that march going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Placing that foot down, let's go into a little prance. So this time stretching and articulating the foot, rolling through the foot, pressing the ball of the foot into the floor, and then on the other foot, pressing that heel down. Stretch the back of the legs. Rise tall in between each transition. And then maybe either swing with the arms. Make it more energetic if you need it to be. And again, let's count down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Parallel heels for our standing footwork. So remember, we're trying to replicate being on the Reformer here. So not necessarily hinging the hips back as you would do in a more traditional squat bend. Keep the back long. So you're just dipping down. It will reduce the range of your squat. But if you think about when you're on the Reformer, the angle of the knee when you're bringing yourself in towards the foot bar isn't that deep unless you work with the foot bar really high. So I'm doing arm movements with all of our standing footwork today. Feel free to join me, and you might even want to bring in a set of hand weights. So let's just do one more here in our parallel heels. Bring yourself tall. Now find that balance. We're going to roll up onto the toes. So with this one, as we do that little dip or bend, you're trying to keep those knees tracking forward. And if you've got the balance, we're taking the arms overhead. I'm concentrating like crazy because I'm talking at the same time. Again, sliding the back down as though you're against a wall, trying to keep the heels in that same position as you bend. And extend, it's tricky. And 7. And 8, and 9, reach and press, and 10, and press. Now if you've got the balance, let's rotate the thigh bones into our V position on the toes. So as we bend, let's close the arms forward. As we exhale and press, taking out to the T. Again, arms are optional, but I kind of like it with the arms. It helps me in a way. And press tall. And bend, and press. Keep pulling the belly in, keep reaching the energy from the crown of the head. Imagine you're being pulled up by a string towards the ceiling. Zip up through the inner thighs as you push tall. Remember, if you need the wall or the back of the chair, you can do that for this standing arm work. Sorry, footwork. And reach. Let's do 2 more here. We've got this, guys. Last one, reach and press, little hold, and then we're going to step it out wide. Don't go too wide, because you're not going to be very happy when we go back up onto the toes. So heels pressing down. Let's go into our little squat bend, reaching overhead. Keep your palms facing forward. Pull the belly in. Reach the tailbone down towards the floor. Again, it's like you're sliding up and down an imaginary wall, reaching along with the arms, knees tracking over the toes. So you've got that open or externally rotated position of the thighs. Reach and press. 3, 2, last one, inhale down, exhale, open. Now here is where we find that toe position. Let's roll it up, let's find it. Okay, we are there. Can we keep the heels lifted as we bend? I'm going back into this version with the arms, so feel free to join me. Moving a little bit slower here because it's more tricky for balance, so take your time with it. If you can move with me, great. You might be moving quicker, even better. But this is where I'm working today with my balance. So you go where you need to go. Keep going. Press all 10 toes into the floor. Feel the knees tracking over the tops of the feet. Give your balance. Woo! It's tricky when you're talking. And I believe we have 2 more. And last one. Reach it long. Woo! Can we hold it? Can we find it? Can we reach overhead? Get longer and longer and longer. Roll down through the feet. And then let's take the arms down by the sides. Quick walk through the feet again. Stretch it out. And then we'll be coming down onto the mat for some core focus work. Okay, let's come on down. So this is the point where if you want to work with a pillow behind your head, bring it in. Get yourself comfortable there. Find your neutral. So imagine you're working with your hands in the straps on the reformer. That's what we're trying to replicate here. Let's float our legs up to tabletop 1 and 2. Arms overhead, nice and heavy through the backs of the shoulders. Starting with the 100 preps. We curl in the chin, lifting up and lowering it back down. Exhale as we come up. Inhale to return. And find that lift. Keep your pelvis neutral if you can. Knees staying over the top of the hips. Ribs sliding towards the hips in that chest lift. And last one. Progressing into the coordination. So I'm going to go slow on this first one. We extend the legs on the diagonal as you find your chest lift. Small open and close with the feet. You don't want to go any wider than your mat. The knees come in first. The arms start to move. The head goes down. So with a bit of flow. Lengthen and curl. Open, close. Knees first, arms and head. And again, lengthen, open, close. Knees, arms, head. Have we got it? Let's go for 10. So lengthen, open, close. Knees, arms and head. And lengthen, open, close. Make that open, close nice and dynamic. It just wants to be quick. Open, close. Don't come too low with the legs that your lower back arches. Open, close. Now I said 10, but we'd already done 3. So let's include that, because we need something in the tank for what else I've got planned. And lengthen, open, close. And back, and reach, open, close. Knees, arms, head. Let's do 1 more. Reach, tight abdominals in this chest lift position. Bring it back down. Hug the knees in, have a little rock and roll across the side of the pelvis before we reset for our next movement. Okay, so let's reset the pelvis in your neutral. Find your tabletop. Curl yourself up. Imagine you're holding your spring on your reformer. Single leg stretch. So this is not the traditional single leg stretch done on the mat. It's kind of a variation to imagine that we are on a reformer right now, so just go with it. You're lengthening one leg away, and then when you're doing that lengthening, try and keep the other leg still, and the more you can keep that knee aligned over the pelvis rather than pulling it in, the more challenging it is. Now can you bring your hands in behind your head and keep those legs going? Keep tightening around the waist. We're going into crisscross. So this is where we have a little rotation with that movement of the legs. Again, this is a slightly modified version, just so we can keep the legs going in the same rhythm. But stay with me, folks. This is a treat because we don't get to do this on the reformer because we would get all tangled up in our row hooks. And we're going to go one more set each way. Eyes going with the movement of the sternum. Hug it in. Let the lower back round into the mat. And have a breather. Should be generating a bit of heat in the body now, folks. So let's move into our side lying hip work. So this is the point where if you like to work with something under your head, bring it in. I'm using the block. So set yourself up so you're evenly stacked through your pelvis. And then make sure your neck feels comfortable. Always get you set up right. So if your pelvis is evenly stacked, you can see I've got a little bit of space at my waist away from the mat here. It depends on your shape, but you don't want to really feel like you're pushing your waist in or your top hip rolls forward. So your underneath leg is going to be bent at 90 degrees. Now get along with that top leg. But again, don't compromise that evenly stacked pelvis. So let's start off with a leg lift. And we're just reaching up and down. And up and down. You can use your front hand for a bit of support there. Just go with wherever feels comfortable. And as the leg is moving, you're trying to keep the pelvis really still. So think about that top hip is directly above the bottom. The lift is not super high, it's more about controlling the movement and taking momentum out. So you're not just swinging the leg, you're really controlling it. And then let's pause in line with the height of the hip and glide the leg forward. Now you come as far forward as you can without changing the pelvis, a small lift and lower, and then exhale, pull back. Come further back than you think you need to. You want to think of your heel in line with your sitting bone. Often people will stop a little bit further out. Let's repeat that. So as far forward as you can maintain the pelvis. So it's somewhere on a diagonal. You probably don't really need to come where the foot is directly in front of you. Maybe you can get there, but usually your pelvis will have gone into a little tuck. So just work with that diagonal position as we do this forward, lift and lower, and then exhale to pull back. Now you could have a variation with this of pointing on the way forward, flexing the foot on the way back. Go with what makes sense to you. And pull. Last one, forward, lift and lower. Now here you're going to pull back and you're going to pull that foot behind the line of your hip. Then you're going to prop yourself up, come onto the elbow of your underneath arm. And then it's like you're lifting the heart forward on a diagonal, the leg is reaching back behind you on a diagonal. You should feel some length and stretch down your torso. Keep your chest proud and lifted. Can you tap that back foot down towards the mat and lift? Down towards the mat and lift. Keep that long feeling through the torso, that proud chest. Pressing to that elbow and lift. Down and lift. You could reach forward with your arm with this. And lift. And lift. I'm going to keep my arm out so you can see me. And lift. And lift. Two more. And lift. And lift. Woo-wee! Feeling that warmth in that hip and glute. Great, let's turn it around and do it all on the other side. So, evenly stacked pelvis. Comfortable through your head. Once you've got that set, check that underneath leg is set in that 90-degree angle. One hip on top of the other. Let's find that long position of the leg. I like to work with a slightly flexed foot for this, but you go with what feels right. Your foot can be pointed or relaxed. The most important thing is to think about pelvic stability and controlling the movement. lifting up and down. Inhale, exhale. Think about that space underneath the waist, or where your waist is touching the mat. You don't want that to really change. Lift and lower. Let's do 2 more of those. And then holding that foot at hip height. So you've got that lovely long line, and you're going to glide that forward to the point where you can feel that the pelvis would start to go into a little tuck, and then you're going to bring it back. Now bring that heel all the way in line with your sitting bone. Create that long line of energy from your head to your heel, and then press back. Feel the hamstring and the glute engage as you bring that leg back. If you did want to replicate having the reformer spring with this exercise, you could put ankle weights on. Really great to increase the strength component of these movements. And use the breath with this. And if we wanted to vary the foot position, we could point on the way forward, do that small lift and lower, flex on the way back, feel the back of the leg and the glute. Point, bring it forward. Small lift and lower, control the movement. Try to minimise any shifting around with the rest of the body. And back, and we're going to do 1 more. Bring it forward, lift and lower. So this time we're bringing it back beyond the line of the pelvis. You're going to push yourself up, underneath elbow comes down to the mat. You're going to push the elbow down to lift the sternum and the heart forward, reach behind you with that leg. Feel the stretch across the front of the torso. Feels good. I hope you're enjoying it too. We're going to tap down and lift. Tap and lift. Keep reaching the energy up out of the chest. Add that reach through the arm if you're feeling it. Take your gaze forward, moving with intention here. Lift and lower. I'm just going to relax the arm. I don't like crossing something over my face when I'm recording a video. For some reason it doesn't feel right, but you guys go for it. Create that beautiful long line with the arm and the leg. And down and up. 4. Keep breathing. 3. I was going to say 2 then. 2. And 1. And then let's rest that leg down and then bring it in. Okay. Get your headrest out of the way. We definitely don't need anything under the head for the next 2 exercises. Very important that you work in a flat position because we'll be articulating up onto the shoulder girdle. If you do have any neck issues or injuries, just go to some pelvic curls or bridging if the following 2 exercises don't feel right for you. Let's come on to our backs. So we are replicating the semicircle exercise done on the reformer. If you don't know the semicircle, just follow along with me as best you can. So we're going to start off in the pelvic curl position. We're going to curl it up. Once you're in the lifted position, I want you to bring your feet up onto your tiptoes. Bring your heels together, which will turn your thigh bones out. And just get into as comfortable a position as you can while you're like this. Now you've still got your tailbone tucked under. Okay, so we're going to roll it down through the spine. The legs are turned out so it's nice and open through the hips, just the same as you would do in a pelvic curl. And release that tuck at the bottom. Can you keep your heels squeezing together? I'm going to take my feet just a little bit further forward so I've got more space, but I'm still in my V. Tuck again. Lift it up. Now on this one I'm going to float my arms behind, so I'm really long here. And I'm going to leave them there as I roll down through my spine. Feels so good. That feeling of length, that space between my shoulder blades connecting into the mat. And then I'm going to repeat. Scoop the belly. This time as I press my hips up, I'm going to press my arms forward. And then I'm going to bring them behind as I'm returning my spine to the mat. Lengthening out. Imagine I'm growing longer to get that maximum articulation. And then scoop the belly. Peel the spine away. Press through the arms as you press the hips up towards the ceiling. And then rolling it down and down. Reach behind with the arms. And let's do that again. Scoop. Lift. Reach. hold, breath in, exhale, articulate down and down. Reach long with the arms, get that length through the spine, release the top at the bottom, and then let's relax the feet. Back to a parallel position, bring the arms forward. Okay, we are moving into an exercise called the rollover, which is a traditional mat exercise. On the reformer, we will be doing the short spine. If either of these are new to you, just follow along as best you can. I'll try and take it slowly. So we'll start in our tabletop position. You're going to send the legs out on the diagonal. You can use a bit of momentum to help you get over here. Okay, so just onto the shoulder girdle, not onto your neck. Exhale, reverse curl, flex the feet. Open, can you extend further? Tap your toes towards your mat. Now as you roll down here, you're pulling the belly in. And you're aiming to roll this down with control. A lot of hamstring work here right now. Press your arms into the mat. Roll it, control it, control, control. Get the pelvis down. We sweep the feet around in a little half circle to come back on that diagonal line. If you need a break here, you bring the knees into tabletop before we reset. So let's go again a little bit quicker this time. So lengthen. Exhale to roll it over. Reach. Flex the feet. Open them. Round about hip distance apart, touch the toes to the mat if you can, and then roll it down. Pull, pull, pull. Pull from your inside, and then round it back into the mat, sweep the legs, and then let's repeat. Over, exhale, flex, open and place, and then control, really rounded lower back, rolling like a ball, and then let's sweep around. Bring the knees in, hug the knees into the chest, let's bring the soles of the feet together, pull the feet towards you nice and open through the hips, and we'll just enjoy a stretch there. Nice work. Okay, let's rock and roll ourselves up. So for our next moves, we are going to be combining a stretch and some full body work using the sliders. So I would suggest getting your mat out of the way for that. So moving on to using our sliders, you actually only need one initially, so I'm just going to move one to one side, so I've got plenty of space. Hand weights optional here. So I'm going to stand sideways so you can see the first movement, which is a lunge. So you're going to keep the back leg straight. The front leg is the one that's bending and extending. So let's just start without the arms to begin with. So I'm going to bend my left leg to slide my right leg back, and then extend my left leg to bring it in. And again, press and slide and in. So it's the front leg that creates the movement. And I'm just kind of sending the hips back a little and then gliding in. So the chest kind of tips forward and in, but I'm pulling my belly in, I'm keeping my back long and flat to get that lunge stance. Front knee, tracking over those toes. So take a few extras to get the feel of this if this is new to you. And then if you want, we can add in the arms. So you've got that reach and pull. Creating that lovely long diagonal. Let's do two more. Oops, losing my disc there. And then on this second one, you're going to hold it in. Now the back leg is the one that's doing the movement. Think of your scooter on the reformer. You're going to pull that knee in and then push back without changing anything through the pelvis if you can. Now with the arms, pull the elbows in, push back out, pull it in, push back out, pull and push. Stability on that left side or the standing side. Keep your pelvis square. You've got 4 more of these. And 3, keep pulling the belly in, long spine, long neck. And the last one. And bring it in. Whoo-wee, okay. Let's go sideways now. So you've still got that right foot under the disc. You're going to be sending that right foot out to the side. So I'm going to bring the weights in front so you can really see what's happening with my pelvis and my leg. Hopefully I'll stay stable. So the same as when we first started, the leg that's sliding is staying straight. So think of your single leg skater on the reformer and side split. It's kind of a hybrid of those two moves. So if you're adding in the arms, reach it up and reach. Knee tracking over that first and second toe of the standing foot. Reach, exhale, sweep it in. Little tighten through the inner thigh and reach. Pull it in, reach. Pull it in. We're going to hold it out on this next one. You guessed it, we're bending the knee to bring it in and out. Add the arms. Pull in, push out. Pull in, push out. Pull in, push out. Strong standing leg. Don't go over on that glute. Pull in, push out. 3, 2, 1. And bring it tall. You guessed it, we're going to do it all on the other side. So left foot on the disc. I'm going to face front this time, but remember it's the front leg that bends, the leg reaching behind is staying straight. So here we go. Let's keep the hands on the hips for the first few, so you can work on that stability through the pelvis. As you glide back, that front knee, check, is it going over your toes? You're not rolling it out and in. Take it to a level that you can maintain. So you don't want to make this lunge that deep that you can't get back. Bring the arms in if you're feeling it. And again, you don't have to be using the hand weights, and they definitely don't need to be more than 1 kilogram to make this effective. Keep it going, reach, pull in. Keep the belly pulled in, the back feeling long. That little tip forward of the chest as you go into the lunge. On this next one, we're going to hold it out there. Scooter in that back leg, pull the elbows in. Losing my disc again. And pull, and push. Stability on that standing leg, stability through the upper body. Nothing's moving, nothing's changing there, it's all happening in the back leg. Everything else is just supporting that movement. 4, 3, 2, 1, and then let's bring it in. Okay, sideways. So you're going to bend that right knee to take it out to the side. And again, I'm going to bring the arms up and in. I think I just held them up on the other one, but that was just more for demonstration purposes, so you could get a good glimpse of my torso and see I'm trying to keep it stable and I'm trying not to go over on that standing leg on the pelvis of that side as you reach it in. Squeeze through the inner thighs, pull that leg, reach and pull. Slightly tipping the chest and the gaze forward. Holding it out there, you got it. Pull it in, push it out. Single leg skater. Pull and press. Are your arms tired yet? Using the hand weights, I'm feeling it. Generating some heat, that's for sure. Which is great because it's only 17 degrees today in Kent, which is most unusual. 2 more. And then bring it in, bring it tall. Whew. Hand weights can go to one side for now. And get your other disc or your other paper plate and thinking about the knee stretch that we do on the reformer. Traditionally, hands are on the foot bar and we're hovering our pelvis somewhere towards our heels. So let's try and replicate that. So you're going to be in a kneeling position. Make sure your fingers have got space between them. Bring the weight of your shoulders above your wrists for this. Usually on the reformer we're a bit further back. Now you might just want to stay in a hover here. Pulling the belly in, keeping the back broad, pressing the chest away. And that might feel enough for you. But if you want to isolate that movement from the hip, can you use those sliders to push out and in without changing the pelvis too much if possible? So you've got to really tighten the abdominals, so pull it in. Exhale, pull. slider, and pull. 4, exhale, tighten the abdominals. 2, and 1, and then press it back. Well done. Okay, let's grab our mats again. So we're going to finish on the mat with some arm work, doing a mat version of the rowing exercise on the reformer. So you're going to start with a tall spine. Again, if this position is challenging for you, you can bend your knees. Weights are out in front of you, knuckles facing away. Now you're going to bend your elbows to bring the weights closer to your sternum. Scoop the belly, round the lower back. As you hollow the belly, you're rolling it back. Now you probably aren't going to go as far back as you can when you're on the reformer. You're going to reach those arms out to the T and think of your arm bones rolling in or your knuckles facing away from you. Exhale, as you dive forward, you reach around, bringing the arms together. And then you're going to sweep those arms in front, and then as they come back to parallel, you're rolling up through the spine. You've rolled the arm bones out so your knuckles are facing forward, and we're back where we started. Okay, a little bit quicker this time. So, fist to sternum. Scoop the belly, roll it back halfway. You're rolling over the pelvis. Pubic bone is lifting towards the weights. Rotate the arms inwards. Knuckles back. Dive the head, reach around. Inhale, sweep the arms forward, rotate the arm bones out, roll up through the spine, restacking, grow tall. And again, inhale towards the chest, exhale, roll it down. Inhale, reach out to the T. Exhale, dive it forward. Inhale, sweep around. Exhale, articulate up, find that tall spine. And again, inhale, exhale, scoop, roll and tuck. And reach it around. And exhale, behind. Sweep the arms forward as you rebuild the spine. Shall we do one more for good luck? Yes. Bend. Exhale, tighten. Keep that little scoop of the belly. And then reach around. And then sweep the arms forward. Roll it up and up and up. And finding that tall spine at the top. Wonderful. Okay, let's come into a kneeling position. Now you can be in a high or a low kneel. It just means if you come here, you won't be able to do the thigh stretch, so you can just do extra arms. In the high kneel, we're going to start off with our chest expansion, so roll the arm bones out slightly, pull the belly in, tailbone reaching down to the back of the legs as you bring the arms back. So create some tension there. It's just a small movement, the same as when you're using the reformer straps. And then you're going to bring the hands up to the forehead and press forward for salute. Elbows bent and then lengthened. And then you're going to bring the arms in front, keep the weights lengthened out through the arms, and you're going to lean into thigh stretch and then come forward. So remember, with the thigh stretch, nothing changes through the spine. You're keeping your pelvis tucked under. The lengthening's happening through your thigh, your quadriceps muscle, and then as you come back up, it's shortening. And the weights, you just kind of got to find the balance with that if you're using them. Can you keep it still there? Can you keep that long flat back? You're not using any extension of your upper back. You're not arching there. You're keeping the abdominals drawn in. You might want to vary the arm position and have the knuckles facing inwards. I don't think it really makes much difference with that. Last one here, and then you're going to bring the arms back again, chest expansion. 2. Keep it broad across those collarbones. 4, 5, and 6. Bring it back up to the forehead. Keep pulling the belly in for the salute. And you could do all of these without the hand weights or slightly heavier weights if you're really keen, but I think 1 kilogram feels just right. And last one, bring the weights down, put them to one side. Let's come onto the tummy. Press your pelvis or your pubic bone down into the mat. Arms by the sides. We're going to push ourselves up from the crown of the head, coming forward through the sternum into a nice back extension to stretch it out. Keep breathing with that. Try not to hold your breath. Keep the pubic bone pressing down. Feel the shoulders slightly drawn down your back. And then just bring the elbows back down to the mat. Bring it down. Hands can rest underneath your forehead. Keep your pelvis slightly tucked. Hover the legs off the mat. Turn the legs out a little, so they're in a little V position. And let's go for a swim with the legs. So just finding that V action. Moving from the top of the leg. And just breathing with it, maybe for 5. For an inhale, 5. For an exhale, similar pattern to your 100. Keep it going. One more set. Pause, relax the feet down. Let's push back into a rest pose or taking it wider with the knees for child's pose. Do whatever feels best. Once you're here, adjust the arms to what feels best for you and just taking some breaths. Slowly bringing yourself up onto your feet. Once you're here, check they're in parallel. Keep the knees soft, but slowly transitioning into a roll down to finish. Restacking the spine, find that tall position, find that even weight through the feet. Full breath at the top, curl it forward. Feel each vertebra following the one in front. Pull the abdominal wall in towards the spine, keep the knees soft. Hold it for a breath. Tighten on your exhale through your centre. Let's take that travel back up to a standing position. Feel the pelvis adjust as you bring it tall through your spine. The gaze forward, shoulders relaxed to conclude your session. And there's nothing like a roll down to mess up your hair. Hope you enjoyed the class, folks. Thanks again for joining me, and I look forward to joining you again in your next class.